day, everyone. Today we shall be explaining, or I shall be explaining to you ecological interactions. We have learned something about ecology and we have been introduced to ecology. That ecology studies the relationship between organisms and organisms in the environment, as well as the relationships of organisms with their physical environment. So this today we are going to look at ecological interactions. Ecological interactions simply are relationships that occur between organisms that live in a specific community. Such relationship could be intraspecific, that is when the relationship is within, that is when it's between organisms of the same species. But when a relationship is between organisms of different species, that is referred to as interspecific. Now, let's look at examples of some ecological interactions. The first one we're going to look at is mutualism. Mutualism is a type of ecological interaction that involves two organisms joining forces together to enhance their chances of survival. An example is sea animal and clownfish. While the animal provides safety and shelter to clownfish provides food and protection for predators and parasites. Mutualism interaction has different types. One, facultative. Facultative, that is when organisms survive on each other under favorable conditions. That is, the organisms coexist without depending on each other. Then we have obligatory interaction. Obligatory mutualism means organisms completely depend on each other. Defensive, that's when one partner of this interaction or relationship receives food and shelter while the other provides the protection. Another one that we have is dispersive. Dispersive is a situation or an interaction between plants and animals, in which case the animal helps to transfer seeds or things that can lead to the growth of seeds. For example, honeybees and plants. Honeybee, while it goes there to the plant to feed on the nectar, it leads to the transportation, that is, some pollen grains landed on the body of the honeybee and helps in the transportation of these pollen grains for the purpose of pollination. The next interaction we are looking at is commercialism. Commercialism is a situation where you have an interaction in which only one organism benefits from the interaction, while the other neither gains nor lose. The relationship is actually one-sided. That is, it's only one organism that gains in the relationship. Example is shark and remora. Shark is a very big fish inside ocean. Remora feeds on the remnants of food of shark, and that is why remora is always found around the stomach of shark. We have different types of commensalism. It could be inquilinism, in which case one organism, that is the one that is referred to as inquiline, lives permanently on the body of the other, while the other receives no compensation. Whale and barnacles, for example. Barnacle lives completely on whale, while whale is not receiving any commendation. We also have metabosis. Metabosis is an interaction where one organism depends on the other for survival. Having crabs and snails, that's an example. Then another one is forestry. Forestry is an interaction where one organism depends on the other for the purpose of transportation. Mites and insects are examples of this type of commensalism. Now, another one that we have is competition. Competition is a type of interaction that exists between two organisms. In that interaction, two organisms compete for common resources. These resources are limited, and so at the end of the day, in this interaction, one organism part of the organisms will be affected. For example, different plants competing for sun, definitely for sun, water, and some other things. definitely one plant will benefit. And we have a situation also in the forest where animals compete for food or shelter. Another interaction that we have is predation. Predation is an interaction in which one organism feeds on the other. The one that feeds on the other is referred to as predator, while the one that is being fed upon is referred to as prey. And that is why this type of interaction is also referred to as a prey-predator interaction. An example is lion that preys on zebra. We have another interaction that is referred to as parasitism. Parasitism is an interaction in which one organism, that is the parasite, benefits while the other organism is being harmed. The other organism that is being harmed is referred to as the host. The parasite feeds on the host while the host is being exploited. For example, tapeworm that is found in the intestine of cow feeds on digested food substances in the intestine of cow, whereas the cow loses its food to the tapeworm, and so the cow can grow leaner and leaner or even weaker. The same thing with ascaris that is found in the intestine of human beings. Then we have another interaction that is referred to as herbivory. Herbivory is an interaction between animals feeding on plants. Herbivory organisms actually act as viable source of energy flow. Example, we have grasshopper feeding on plants, we have sheep or goat also feeding on plants. Another example of interaction we're looking at is Amenalism. Amenalism is an interaction in which one population finds itself in danger with the existence of the other. For example, when you have big, tall, wide trees growing so wide, they can comparatively, prevent or hinder the growth of smaller plants. This is what we refer to as amenalism. And in that case, while the smaller organism or the smaller plants is being affected, the bigger ones are not affected. We could also have another example like the growth of algae on the surface of rivers or lakes. This algae blooming on the surface of the waters can prevent oxygen from entering water, and so they can hamper the growth of fish that stay inside water. Now, you also have another interaction that is referred to as predator mimicry. The predator mimicry interaction is an interaction where you have adaptation of some vulnerable organisms to dodge their predators with the act of mimicry. For example, we have a fast-stroid butterfly. Fast-stroid butterfly mimic another butterfly that is called a monarchy butterfly. Monarchy butterfly has an offensive odor, secretes chemicals, harmful chemicals that prevents predators from feeding on it. And so the fast-stroid butterfly also try to mimic monarchy butterfly so that it will not be fed upon by the predators. The next one is symbiosis. Symbiosis is an interaction where different species collaborate to enhance their shared existence, such as enhancing nutrient exchange. This set demonstrates what we refer to as life support and sustenance. Example is mycorrhizae that is always found in the nodules or roots of a plant. This fungus enhances nutrient uptake for both the plant and even the fungus itself, and protect the host plant from pathogens. Then you have cooperation. Cooperation interaction. This is an interaction where members of the same species they come together to form a colony. Like examples such as a Termitarum, Antarum. You have these organisms. They come together, they form members, they work together to carry out tasks like building their house, building their nest, and even raising of offspring. Another example of interaction is decomposition. Decomposition involves organisms breaking down another organism or organisms into from the complex form into the fundamental simpler form, that is degrading it into the fundamental nature through series of decomposition. The organism that helps in the breaking down of another organism is referred to as decomposer. Examples of decomposers include bacteria, that is Pseudomonas, fungi. Examples such as Penicillium, Lysopus, they are examples of fungi that are used or that are involved in the decomposition interaction. You have another interaction, ecological interaction, that is referred to as feedback loops. Feedback loops involves an interaction that is aimed at maintaining equilibrium, maintaining optimum level within an ecosystem. This is a very vital or important interaction or interactions. We have examples where you have such as a climate feedback loops. It increases and decreases the effect of climatic factor. We have situations where you have, the components of an ecosystem interwoven together so that there will be continuous equilibrium, continuous balance within an ecosystem. In conclusion, in an ecosystem, organisms exist and depend on each other for food and for energy flow, and this has led to different relationships and interactions which are referred to as ecological interactions. Thank you.